Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're just coming across my channel for the first time, hello, my name is Fiona and I'm a YouTuber based in Germany, and today it's a very good day. Okay, so I decided to have a chit chat with you guys. So on today's video I'm going to be talking about what you should not do when you are in Germany. All right, so it's a cultural norm, and if you are a guest here and if you are living here or you travel here for a vacation, this video is for you. And if you are living here and you decided to make Germany your second home, this video is for you. So today guys, I'm going to be listing all the things you shouldn't do when you are in Germany. It is verboten, it is forbidden. Number one, never be late. Okay, if perhaps your appointment is around 8, you should be there by 7:40 or 7:48, because when you go to the appointment you need to still have to like sit, relax, or maybe they might give you some forms to fill. Okay, so these are one of the things you should never do when you come to Germany. You know, having to be from an African country, we as an African, we have something we call African time. It is not allowed. All right, so if you come later than the set time you should be here, you have to rebook your appointment. That is how serious it is when coming late for an appointment or anything that have to be on time. Anything that has to be with time, you have to be early, be it by bus. Everything has timing. If you're going to a restaurant, it has time. All right. So Germans don't joke with their punctuality. And number two, you should never jaywalk. Jaywalking means you should never go on the lane you shouldn't. We have pedestrian lane. You should always stick to your lane, especially when bikers. When I use the word bikers, like bicycles, Germans use bicycle a lot, and they have their bicycle lane, they have pedestrian lane, they have car lane. Okay, so please and please, before you want to like cross, try to look your left, try to look your right before trying to walk. All right, do not even stand on the bike lane. It is not allowed. It is frowned upon. Number three, you should never make noise on Sundays. Okay. Sundays, Germans are usually at home. They hate noise. They hate noise. They have something they call Ruhetag, like quiet day. So Sunday is specifically for not making noise, even to vacuum. I'm sure it is not allowed to even vacuum on Sundays, especially when you have like older Germans in your apartment. They are very sensitive to sound. Even while walking down the hallway, I and my friend were just chit-chatting, and then this older woman came and she spoke in German like we were making noise. So it is really, 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 really sensitive, because Germans do frowns on such misconduct or behavior, because they can even call your landlord and report that you are a very lousy neighbor. And number four, okay, is never you talk about war, German war. Never you speak about German war, because they are very sensitive when they get to hear Nazi. All right, even me saying this now, it's so heavy in my mouth. Like you hear of those Hitler time during the war between, I think, Americans or I think Italian, Poland. They do not want to hear about those war because they lost a lot of lives. It's really, really, really frowned upon, because a lot of buildings in Germany were collapsed, a lot of houses. And if you come to Germany, for example, or you're already in Germany, you will notice most of all the houses here are very, very recent, maybe from 10 years ago, 15 years ago. You hardly see historical buildings such as having to go to Italy, where you will see all those mosaic, cathedral, like all those olden days, structural materials when it comes to buildings. So my number 5, when you are getting to meet people, for example, like having to meet people for the first time, please do not hug. Germans are not so friendly when it comes to having to see people you've never met. Maybe, okay, I get to introduce you to my husband and then you just hug. It is not really nice. So they always greet with a handshake. Hello, sir, blah, blah, blah. Hello, Frau, blah, blah, blah. Hello, Herr, blah, blah, blah. Don't just come and hug. They always do all their stuff in a formal way. So maybe when you go for an appointment and maybe you want to like say hello, you can say Guten Morgen, Guten blah blah blah. Or when they introduce you with somebody, to somebody rather, you should shake, and that is okay. All right, don't go further by all right. Number 6, you shouldn't address people in an informal way. Even though you've been like your neighbor now, you should use the word Z instead of do. Okay, especially because they find, just like how we in Nigeria, for example, let me use my country, you would say hello ma, ekason ma. That formal respect is not that you are using the word do, which is you. Z is like you're saying ma. All right. I don't know how I explained it, but please, before you start using do, you should learn to understand that that person is your friend. Do you understand? You guys are very close. So having to use the word do is knowing the person fully and you're already very comfortable with that person, not addressing anybody as do. So Z, either man or woman, always learn to use Z, especially when you're in a very formal environment. Please and please. You might be wondering why all of these are maybe against the societal norm, but this is something they find really, 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 really sensitive. Okay, so my number 7 is a very, very, very important message you need to learn. We need to learn, especially we Africans. We are very lousy when we are making phone calls, especially myself. Maybe when I'm talking to my sister, I'll be so carried away, especially maybe I'm speaking pidgin. I'll be like, hey, how far now? How you doing now? So this, my number 7, is when you are in a public transport, in a public space, in a restaurant, like if you're in a restaurant, learn to make your call very quietly. Okay, learn to make your call very quietly, because Germans, they find this really rude. I've tried this sometime that I never knew, but I came to realize when I was making a phone call, I was very relaxed. When I was on the bus and I was just talking and I was just seeing stares like. So Germans do frown on this, okay? So whenever you're in a public space, we should try to not be too loud when making our calls, because you are disturbing their peace. It is something they are not used to, and then when you start it, they will be so puzzled and be like, are you from the bush? Or you don't know the law, it is not allowed. My number 8, if I've not really forgotten the number, you should always try to carry cash, okay? Learn to always carry cash, even though it is a very, equipped country that they use all electronics and all that. Some shops, especially the farm market, most of the farm markets, they don't use They don't use POS. Okay, so always learn to carry cash. All right, because the last time I traveled to Austria, for example, most of the shops too, they were not using card. So like today too, my friend in class, we needed to contribute money. Just imagine I wasn't having, what is it called, money. Yeah, it would have been not fair. Not like she actually needed it, but she just got married, and the teacher actually bought a wedding card wishing her well in her marriage and all of that. So everybody contributed, coins. Always learn to carry, even if it is little money with you, because you might not know where and when you will need it. So that is what you should never do. All right, in Germany, always learn to carry cash with you. All right, so let's jump on to the other number. I don't really know the number I am right now. Remind me, guys. So never you assume everybody speak English. Okay, before you try to speak English, try to ask, sprechen Sie Deutsch? Do you speak Deutsch? Do speak Deutsch? If my German is correct, but this is how it should be. Always learn to ask people if they know how to speak English, because that is not their general language. Okay, so always try to ask people before you speak English, because a lot of people don't find speaking English very comfortable, because it is something they are not used to, and even if they know how to speak English, they find it really hard. I know people who are watching me who lives in Germany, they know what I'm saying, because it is really hard for them to express themselves, just like how we know how to speak English, and maybe when we want to try to speak in German, we'll be very timid, thinking maybe we have grammatical blunders and all that. So on to the next thing you should never do is you should always address people with title. All right, so if somebody wants to address me as your wife, they will tell me Frau Fiona, Herr Professor, blah blah blah. Always add people with their professional title. That is how they want it in their formal word. Formal word. Okay, so if you are in a social space, you should try to address people. Don't just say Fiona. That's you sounding informal. So you have to say Professor Fiona, blah blah blah. This video is not going to be long, but it's just something I just thought about. It will be very easy for you guys to navigate, to understand the do and don't of what Germans really find as things you shouldn't do when you are living here. And also, I think I've not said something about separating your trash, like your bottles, your paper, your the bio in terms of maybe like your food, like after scraping the pot and all of that. So that is the last thing you shouldn't do when you're living in Germany, is that you shouldn't be too friendly with strangers, because sometimes you might not know what's going on in people's lives. So when maybe like for example, you see your neighbor, you should just say Guten Morgen, Morgen, all right, until your stranger initiate more conversation. Then that is when it is right for you to talk more. Okay, and yeah, things I already said is the last thing, but I want to give you guys another tip. Okay, whenever you take your problem to your workplace or to your school place, okay, whatsoever is the environment you should stick to that lane of such environment. Be professional, okay? And I will catch you guys on another video. So if you find this little talk of mine a little bit interesting, I would love to hear your do's and don'ts you've come across ever been in Germany, even as a tourist, as an immigrant living here in Germany. I would love to hear from you guys what you guys have been facing, How have you guys been able to, scale through? I would also like to, hear from you guys what have been your challenges, and I would like to hear from you guys what you would love me to still talk on my channel. And I will catch you guys on another video. So don't forget to like, comment, share, keep this channel growing. And thank you for the 500 followers. We are going to 600, and I will catch you all up later on another video. Peace. Bye guys. Ciao. Tschüss.